you ain't grounded before I go any further or say anything further. Get grounded, you hear me? If you're not grounded, get grounded. You heard? Because we're going deep diving within ourselves. You know, self-examination 101. So if you're not grounded, get grounded. I'm going to speak to the things, what I present is going to speak to various levels of recognition about ourselves, levels of balance about ourselves or within ourselves, levels of healing within ourselves, levels of peace within ourselves, levels of resolution in ourselves, levels of overcoming about us within ourselves, and feelings of victory, you know, about ourselves and within ourselves. But we're going deep diving. So if you're not grounded, get grounded. You hear me? Osio to my Indians. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. Alafia. Peace. Hello. And all those other good greetings. You hear me? I can't measure my life off your living experience, but I can learn from it. And to flip that coin on the other side, you can't measure your life off my living experience, but you can learn from it. You hear me? For whoever needed to hear that. Everything in our life, pardon me, OurSelf. Everything in our life reflect how we been, regardless of who we think we've been. Everything in our life reflect how we been, how we are, or how we will be one day. But no matter where we find ourselves, or no matter where we at, we must continue to do the work from whatever space we find ourselves in. Now, for those who listening, you notice ain't nothing I said have anything to do with nothing that we have, nothing that we got. Message, you hear me? It's about internal value and internal security. And I say that because we never know who we are. Regardless of anybody else, we never know who we are until we give ourselves a chance to show us. Message, you hear me? Cause we definitely don't know who nobody else is unless we give them a chance to show us. But we don't know who we are until we give ourselves a chance to show us. You hear me? But as I say, we going deep diving today, so I hope everybody got their scuba gear. What's your mindset presently? If we was having a conversation in person right now, and I asked you what was your mindset? See, and it's a good time to get our pens and pads. If you ain't got your pen and pad, get your pen and pad, or find something to write on. You hear me? Because you really don't want to miss it, because it's gonna give you a chance, as I said, to have better recognition with yourself, balance, healing, peace, resolution, and all those other things that I mentioned previously that I can't recall right now in this moment. But what's your mindset presently? Where do you concentrate your focus? Where do you concentrate your focus? Do you love yourself in every moment? With whatever your first response would be, you know, do you love yourself in every moment? Or just the good and pleasant moments? Are you recycling or reshaping, remolding yourself? In what ways and how? Are you recycling and molding yourself? You know? When was the matter of fact? When was the last time? When was the last time that you was excited about waking up? I ain't talking about excited to go to work cause you got to pay the bills. When was the last time you just was excited just about waking up? Remember as kids, we'd be excited for the next day. You know, when was the last time you felt like that? When was the last time you felt excited about waking up? What would the people that know you have to say about who you are right now? See, these questions ain't coming in no particular order. You hear me? They're just gonna come as they come. But like I said, it's about levels of recognition, balance, healing, peace, and resolution that we have come to terms within ourselves and about ourselves. What would those that know you have to say about who you are right now? Honestly. About who you honestly are, not who you appear to be. You know? If it was up to you, what type of changes would you like to see in the world? If it was up to you to make changes in the world, what type of changes would you like to see in the world? And I will have to follow that with what type of changes have you made in yourself? What type of changes have you made that reflect your vision about your changes in the world? See, because we can't change the world, but we can change something in us. You hear me? And change isn't about what's wrong. Change is about what's possible. If you don't listen, you're going to miss it. But what type of changes would you like to see in the world based on the changes you have made that reflect your vision? Have you assisted others on their journey based off the changes you have made? Have you assisted others in their journey based off the changes you have made? Are you allowing yourself to make emotional growth decisions, emotionally mature decisions? Or are you running off something else, running on ego? Are you allowing yourself to make emotional growth, emotionally mature decisions? And knowing that everybody don't have a spiritual life, for those that do, how would you describe your spiritual life? Are you clear with it? Are you intentional about it? Are you sincere? Are you dedicated? Are you committed? How would you describe your spiritual life? Is there any part of your life that you see as a burden? Not pertaining to your spiritual life, pertaining to your whole life. Is there any part of your life that you see as a burden? And y'all know I'm going to flip the coin. Is there any part of your life that you see as sacred? Because we can't have one without the other. You know? What do you feel or think you are called to do? What do you feel or think that you are called to do? As a spirit, as a being of spirit, as a spiritual being. I ain't talking about what you do in having a human experience. What do you feel you are called to do from a spiritual level? Can you see yourself in everyone else's light? Even the shadow parts? Can you see yourself in everyone else's light? Even the shadow parts, even the dark parts? Because we all see something in ourselves that we see reflected in others. Good, bad, or indifference, whatever in the middle. You hear me? Do you have a deeper understanding of who you are as a spirit? How well do you address the shadow in yourself? How well do you address the shadow in yourself? Because some of us can be quick to address the shadow or the uncomfortable parts or the unlikable parts about others. But how well are we addressing those same things when it comes to us? How well are we addressing the shadow aspects of ourselves, the dark aspects of ourselves, the not so pretty parts of ourselves? How well are we at doing that? Confronting ourselves. As a spiritual being having a human experience, how would you describe your human experience? If we was having dialogue and personal communication, how would you describe your human experience? How do you tap into your genius? Because we all have one. and behind the veil of all that we see of this flesh, everybody got a genius within. How do you tap into your genius though? Are you creative or self-destructive? Are you creative or self-destructive? How well do you communicate? Do you exercise effective communication in all your affairs? Do you practice effective communication in all your affairs? Do you follow through with what you say? Is your word bond? Another way to say it is your word bond, and our bond is our life. So is your word life? How do you engage with others? Going back to how well do you communicate? How effective do you communicate? How well do you engage with others? How well do you engage with yourself? Because we usually engage with others in the way that we engage with ourselves, whether we know it or not. You hear me? Do you do your best in whatever you do, in everything you do? Do you do your best? It's easy to be selective, but do you do your best in every area of your life? And do you do your best in the lives of others? when you allow access to it, do you do your best? That's important too. Are you impulsive? Are you reactive? Or are you responsive? Are you impulsive? Are you reactive? Or are you responsive? Some might be one, some might be two out the three, some may be all three. You know, there's no right or wrong answer. These are once again, these questions just speak to different levels of recognition about ourselves. How well do we know ourselves? Self-examination 101. Are you impulsive, reactive, or responsive? How often do you self-reflect? How often do you self-deflect? How often do you self-reflect? Even if you deflect it. Are you a just person? Are you a just person? Meaning, are you fair? Are you a fair person? Are you fair when it comes to yourself, to be fair when it comes to others? Or are you manipulative, conniving? You can be honest with yourself. The good thing about these questions is that you don't have to tell me nothing. But you could be brutally honest with yourself. How do you address, or how do you confront, whichever word seems more pleasant? How do you address uncomfortable situations? How do you address uncomfortable circumstances? How do you address uncomfortable people? And where do you feel you could use improvement about anything? Where do you feel you could use an improvement? Remember, change isn't about what's wrong. Change is about what's possible. Where do you feel you could use improvement? How do you process differences of opinion? Since all of us don't think the same, all of us don't believe the same, how do you process differences of opinion? Is everybody wrong just because they don't believe what you believe? How do you process differences in opinion? Do you extend the same compassion and understanding that you require? Do you extend the same compassion and understanding that you require? Meaning, patience requires patience. Kindness requires kindness. Generosity requires generosity. Do you extend the same kind of compassion and understanding? Just for an example, do you extend the same kind of compassion and understanding that you require? Or are you selfish when it comes to you? I ask these questions, family, because we got to live with ourselves as we live in ourselves. So these questions give us a better recognition of ourselves to determine how we living. And I got to bring it back. After all these questions been asked, What would those that know you have to say about you? After all the things that you have come up with in yourself, what would those that know you have to say about you? See, nothing is ever nothing is ever what it looked like. You know, nothing is ever what it looked like unless you flip outside in. But for those of us who see from the inside out, we outside looking in. And these questions that I ask show the difference, because there is a difference. You hear me? And I ask these questions because no matter how much light we may think we have, so forth and so on, when you can hold space, and if you can hold space for your shadow, you can hold space for mine. And until you can hold space for your shadow, you won't possibly be able to hold space for mine. So this is what makes these questions so important. Because you can only see me to the depths that you're able to see yourself. And if you hear on the other side of these words, you can see the type of depths that I go into myself to present these type of questions to you. Because you can only see me according to the depths that you're able to see yourself. You can only meet God in me to the ability that you have met God in yourself. Or you probably calling me everything but who I say I am. You hear me? Because nothing is ever what it looked like. Especially if you've been flipped outside in. But from inside out, we see a totally different picture. You hear me? And as I said earlier, change it and about what's wrong. That ain't why I presented these questions. You know, change is about what's possible. So I gave us an opportunity through these questions to see something possible about ourselves. Because you can't get impossible without I'm possible. You hear me? And if I'm possible, so are you. You hear me? Stillness, abundance, love, light, health, and wholeness. Okay, I'm listening. Stillness, abundance, love, light, health, and wholeness. Anyway, stillness and abundance, love, and light, health, and wholeness. You hear me? Pull one. I ain't gonna take that because I want to shuffle them up a little bit. I see something flip. I can't make this up if I want to. Connect to an eternity within. Once again, these questions speak to levels of recognition, balance, healing, peace, resolution, overcoming, and victory. That eternity within. Connect to eternity within. Let yourself be held by love. These questions give us an opportunity to look at ourselves through the eyes of love, regardless of what may come up through the questions that was asked. You hear me? It gives ourselves an opportunity to love ourselves in the event of anything that we see about ourselves or within ourselves that may be disliking, that may be unlikable, that may be unpleasant. You hear me? If you know, you know. But it gives us a chance to hold ourselves in the space of love. Because as I said, change isn't about what's wrong. Change is about what's possible. So that means if in the event that any of these questions allowed you to see something in yourself that you ain't like, you got an opportunity to do something about it. Because if we ain't changing it, we choosing it. You hear me? Connect to the eternity within. That's the number 9. It's a lot of things going on in that on this card, you know, in the clouds. He ain't in the clouds. You hear me? Number 9. We in the year 9. Within us lies hundreds of worlds, thousands of lives, and millions of possibilities. See, I can't make this up if I wanted to. Change isn't about what's wrong. It's about what's possible. Within us lies hundreds of worlds, thousands of lives, and millions of possibilities. We are infinite, stretching forever into the expanse of the universe. As beings of stardust and sunfire, we carry eternity within us. It is in our remembrance of our essence that we find stillness and a peace that extends past the borders of time. If you have pulled this card, which I have, it is time to connect with that eternity once more. Take some time today to go into your inner worlds and connect with the expanse of the divine. Going back to the questions. Wonderment exercise. Find a quiet place with minimal distractions. Light a few candles. Burn some incense. Light up some sage. You hear me? Utilize crystals if you have any. Turn on some uplifting instrumental music. Put on some frequencies as y'all hear. And go inward. Start by visualizing the love at the center of your being. See that love enveloping you, surrounding you with its warm, golden light. Feel the heat of that love kiss you upon the cheek and squeeze you tight in its arms. Let yourself melt into this divine love and become one with the divine expanse of all that is and all that will be. Go into your Akasha records. The Akasha records hold the memories of all that was, all that is, and all that will be. When you hear the word divine, responsive journaling prompt. When you hear the word divine, what emotions do you feel inside of you? And I asked y'all to bring y'all pen and pad in the beginning. Responsive journaling prompt. When you hear the word divine, what emotions do you feel inside of you? Is there anything that might be stopping you from fully receiving unconditional love or experiencing the wonder of the divine? Because there ain't nothing stopping us but whatever it is going on within us that we have allowed to get in our way. And if you ain't in your own way, ain't nothing in your way. When you hear the word divine, what emotions do you feel inside of you? Is there anything that might be stopping you from fully receiving unconditional love or experiencing the wonder of the divine? Connect to the eternity within. I appreciate y'all for joining me Whenever you find yourself coming through, I appreciate y'all for joining me on this journey, and I appreciate you all who have been joining me on this journey. You hear me? On this quest to be better than we started out. You hear me? You know? Salute to the Cosmic Consciousness family and soul tribe. And all others. You hear me? Thanks for the likes, shares, comments, questions, purchases, love offerings, donations. You hear me? Whatever you consider them as, you know, ties to some, because everybody don't go to church. You hear me? Yeah. And I appreciate y'all who appreciate me. You hear me? Until we do it again, I'm known as Sawu. Be you how you be you. Feel good for no reason at all. And don't stop commanding change over your life. Because change isn't about what's wrong. Change is about what's possible. So, connect to the eternity within. You hear me? And until we do it again, I'm known as Sawu. Be you how you be you. Love, family. Peace.